Hey all, it's Johnny Mullet here with another update on the bus build. Just wanted to share a couple little things with you. I wanted to do a recap and had some questions for my viewers. So first thing you're going to notice on the very front roof of the bus, there's an antenna there. And if you look next to the porch light and on down near the back, you see two black hooks. Those are for my awning. Today I'm not able to set the awning up, it's too crappy out. But I do have pictures I can share with you when we do the recap. So if you want to stay tuned for that, check it out. But let's go on inside the bus here real quick. So I was asking my dad about a CB radio, and he says, yeah, I got a couple old TVs. If you are interested in one, I'll give it to you. I'm like, okay, cool, something small, something out of the way. He's like, well, I got something that's kind of old, and it'll be out of the way. It's a remote CB transceiver. And I was like, okay, I've heard of them. I think back in the 70s and stuff, when the CB boom was going on, this was a popular choice for people that didn't want their radio stolen. So what we have here is this is like 1970s technology President remote CB. And all the controls are right here. Come on! As you can see, the skip is rolling in. That's a CB term. But anyway, there's the CB radio. Got the antenna on the roof, and the CB radio is right there. So I'm not like a big CB kind of guy. I used to be years ago when I was younger. My parents were really into it because my dad, he lived far away, and Mom would get on the CB radio, and Dad would be on his mobile, and they would talk on his way home from work. And I had a CB in my old van and stuff when I was younger, but CB radio today is kind of dead, but it is useful when you're on the highway and there's traffic is stopped. You can turn the CB on and you can listen to what the truckers are saying and get a good idea of what's going on, road conditions, or even for asking for emergency help. It's starting to rain right now, but I wanted to talk to you all real quick. I don't know what happened on my last video, but I posted my last video was the official Skoolie tour video. Even though the video is not done yet, or the bus is not done yet, I decided it was time to put up an official tour video. And since that video came out, I gained 100 subscribers, and that video alone has got more views than almost any video on my channel. That video got like 7,500 views. And it kind of blows my mind because either somebody who's popular out there shared my video or maybe YouTube featured it. I don't know. So all you new people out there new to my channel, how did you find my Skoolie build videos? What brought you here? Was it a link? Was it a recommended video on the main page of YouTube? I'm kind of curious to find out. So, my awning, I was going to set it up today. Yesterday was a beautiful day, but I was really busy trying to get stuff done. And so I can't do the awning today. It's raining, it's windy. But I got pictures I can share with you, and we're also going to do a recap of the last year of me owning this bus. So if you don't want to stick around for the recap, at least stick around for the awning, because I think it's pretty cool. It's a real simple DIY setup, and it costs like less than $100. So stick around if you like. If not, you can go watch, Happy Kitten videos or something like that. Okay, here we are inside the house. This is my laptop. Like I was just talking about, leave a description on how you found me. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what's going on because, like I said, right now, I had almost 400 subscribers. Now I got 490. And this video here, which was my official Skoolie tour video. You see right there, 7,574 views. So that's absolutely crazy. And, 82 comments. I've never had this much reaction on any of my videos before. I mean, a lot of my regulars, like Caitlin and some others, they're always with me through every video. But a lot of new people, a lot of people I've, never interacted with before. I think it's pretty wild. Kind of blew my mind. But anyway, if you wanted to stick around for the awning thing here, that's my recap. This is my simple DIY awning, okay? I'm sorry about this video. I am not a professional video guy. I can't provide you with, fancy, music and all that crap. My videos are raw, and that's the way they are. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. That's all I got. Like I explained in like my second video I ever made on the bus build, I just ain't got time for it. I mean, I could spend hours and hours making some really awesome videos, but hey, it is what it is. I have these videos here on YouTube basically to document my bus build and to share with you guys, my pride and joy. So if you look here, you see the hook there and a hook there. This is a 8x16 awning that I got off of Amazon. It's basically a heavy-duty white tarp. And if you look here, every other hole has a hook. These are magnetic hooks, and they're really, really powerful. They're really nice, and I think the ones I bought are supposed to be, 65 pounds. It'll hold. That's in a horizontal, but not a vertical, but these hooks seem to work pretty good. So there's that, and let me show you how the awning looks when it's up. We'll just scroll on over to this picture right here. So I have I think they're 6-foot tent poles, and you can adjust the length. And those are basically holding into the eyelets on the end of each side of the tarp, and 2 guide wires with, tent stakes. So there's the awning. It's really simple. It's an easy DIY. You don't have to worry about your awning not rolling up properly or the awning getting ripped off the side of your vehicle. And if it does, if this one gets ripped off, that's fine. It's not like any permanent damage was done. And it's not like you lost a lot of money on the deal. Like I said, I have less than $100 in this. With the tarp, I think was $40, and the poles were like $40-something. So it works really well, and I got to use it one day. We had one nice day I got to use it, so I enjoyed myself. Had me a beer, hung out and watched the sunset. The sunset over here, it was pretty nice. Anywho, let's get on to what I was talking about, a recap. Now, if you're already bored with the video, just like I said, go watch Happy Kitten videos or something else, because we're doing a recap of since day one since I bought the bus. This was day one of the school bus at the church where I bought it in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And as you can see, I already knew it had some rust issues up in here. I already knew about the rust spots down in here. But the undercarriage is what sold me, and how well it was taken care of and how well it was maintained. I knew it had the 7.3 liter International engine, and I love those engines. It's one of my favorite diesel engines. As a diesel mechanic, I would know. And this thing only had 174,000 miles on it, and it ran great. This tells you the model year and the horsepower rating. This one here is 190 horsepower. A 210 is available, which I can do with computer programming and turn it up to 210 horsepower. The steer tires were in great shape. Right here, there was a power steering leak. I was not aware of it until later, but it was an easy fix. I was able to fix it right up, no problem. The other side of the engine, the frame rails. This is, the part that I wanted to be sure was not rotten. And the frame rails looked really good. It had new batteries in it. The entire undercarriage was in really good shape. You see the cross members up here, they're not rotted out. The frame looked good. This carrier bearing was recently replaced, so that was nice. The entire exhaust system on the bus was brand new. I think it was a year old when I purchased the bus, and that is from the turbocharger all the way out. And it had brand new rear calipers and new brake pads. And when I crawled under and seen that, I was like, wow, that's big. That's a huge savings right there. And it had brand new recaps. I'm not totally against recaps. Recap tires are fine. And especially in a bus when you only go, 60, 65 miles an hour tops, you're fine. If you travel in the, hot climates and you travel, 70 plus miles an hour, recaps is probably not a good choice. They're okay on the drives. They are not legal on the steer tires. There's the bus sitting next to the church van. This is the van that replaced the bus. Just a few more shots before we hit the road. First thing we did was fuel it up. It was reading like almost empty. It took $100, 30 gallons, topped it off. Found out later my tank is much larger. My fuel sender is not correct. I explained that in the last video. Stopped at a rest area. And this is a crappy picture, but it's very important. I wanted to get the bus up to 65 miles an hour. And that's where it was, basically topped out at. And as you can see, the RPMs on this engine was just about 2,700 RPM, maybe 26, because at the time, this vehicle was governed at 2,600 RPM at 65 miles an hour. So that's basically top speed of the bus. No matter what things I have done to it, recently, like shutting off the rev limiter, shutting off the road speed control, 2,600 RPM on a 7.3 international diesel is about as max as you want to go. So this would be a cruising speed, pretty much top speed for the bus without doing any damage to it. So, and I don't know if you can read that, but 174,000 miles when I bought the bus. It now has 177,000. So I've been driving the hell out of it on the way home, and there it is in the driveway. I think this is when I made my very first video, Mullet Skoolie Build Episode 1 intro. And the next day I took it to work. I wanted to show the guys, and everyone's like, you're crazy. We all get that. There's the switch panel. It has intermittent wipers, regular high and low wiper, high and low wiper. Each wiper is individual. So this is the passenger side control. This is the driver side control. The interior light switch worked. The dome light for the driver, that worked. All the school bus lights worked. It had heated mirrors, which work. 2 fan controls, which both fans are still in the bus, and 4 heater controls. This bus has a defroster, a right heater, a left heater, and the rear heater. And I kept every heater in the bus. I left them factory, I left them where they're at, and they all work, and I'm glad I did. There's the shot of the inside of the bus when I first got it. She's came a long way in a year, all the owner's manuals, maintenance manuals, everything was in there. I even got a stack of records for the bus of everything that was done to it. So here it is outside of work. I even had the school bus stop sign and flasher lights on when I picked the guys up because we're going to lunch. We cruised on down to Burger King. Can't remember what I had. I think it was a Whopper with cheese meal. The other guys got shakes and stuff like that, chicken tenders. Hey, whatever. I'm just rambling on. This is the important part. This is when we started ripping the seats out of the bus, and I had some friends come down and they helped me. And this is my friend Ashley back here and my friend Adam. He brought his grinder, I had my grinder, and I put Ashley in charge of unbolting the sides of the seats to the seat rails, and me and Adam back here were grinding the floor bolts off and throwing them out the back door. So, quick time. In less than, I'm saying, 6 hours, we had the seats out, we had the heater unbolted, we had the floors ripped, and we started ripping up the rubber floor. And this bus did not have plywood underneath the floor. It had steel, and I noticed, wow, the rust isn't too bad. I was worried about that. It's like, how bad's the rust? And the worst part's the wheel wells, like it is on any bus. Beautiful floor. It looks great. This was the worst part of the floor right here where there was an actual hole. And you can see where the water and stuff and salt was getting in and causing rust. So I broke out the welder and started patching and welding. And everywhere that there was a hole or a soft spot, I welded. And then I used seam sealer and I seam sealed the entire area. Anywhere I think water would come in, it got seam sealed. So we didn't want no water coming in. We didn't want no moisture. I also used this rusty metal primer, this from Rust-Oleum. It's really good stuff. And we did the floor, and it came. This was all done on the same day. You can still see the seats laying back there outside the door. I put a free sign on there, and they were gone in 2 days. There's the floor all done from the back view. It looks nice. Some of the stuff I purchased, that needed to go in. But here's the big stuff. this was what I needed to do the floor. I got tar paper, I got 1/4 inch insulation, and 5/8 plywood, and got some 2x4 so I can start framing. We started with tar paper. This would keep any moisture from getting inside if there was a leak, and also, it works the other way too, but it is what it is. I then laid the 1/4 inch insulation right on top. It's very thin, and it's only like a R1 value, maybe 1.0, but it's better than nothing. And it actually did, it made a major improvement, especially on road noise. Here I am using my sawhorse to cut the plywood, and I actually laid the subfloor myself. I was very proud of my subfloor. I did a very nice job on it. Turned out absolutely beautiful. And here is when I started framing out my power distribution box. Now I made 2 measurements, one this way and one this way for batteries. I knew I was going to use 6-volt golf cart batteries wired in series, so I made it so I could put 2 batteries side by side, and if I need to expand my battery bank to 4 batteries, I turn them around sideways and I can fit 4 batteries in there. So I had this all in my head, all planned out. Started framing, framing the walls, getting everything done. There you can see the framing going in between the windows and so forth. This was the factory insulation inside the bus. We pulled the ceiling panels down. I pulled 3 of them down. A lot of guys were like, oh, you need to rip that out and put new insulation up and blah, 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 blah. I was happy with the insulation that was in it, so I left it. I wanted to keep the original steel ceiling for magnets and stuff, and I like the steel ceiling. It's got that steampunk look to it, so I kept it. And I kept the factory insulation in the ceiling and haven't really had too many issues that I can really verify that the insulation does not work at all. More electrical stuff I bought. As you can see, the framing's getting more and more complete. There's the power distribution box almost done. My buddy Adam and Ashley came down. Adam got on the roof for me because technically I'm afraid of heights. And this was a day in January where the weather was nice. We took advantage of it and we went ahead. You can see the factory insulation right there after we cut the first hole for the fantastic fan. Got the fan laid in place. Check it out, cut the inside hole. And we got the solar panels mounted, and we also got the, what do they call that? It's the inlet for the wires for the solar panel, and that's all sealed up, and we had to make sure everything was sealed up and good to go. We didn't want no leaks on the roof. So there's the solar panels and the fantastic fan now installed. More materials. This was the expensive part of the build. More lumber, more materials. It's just... I started more wiring. I got my charge controller, my fuse box, my bus bar. And I knew I was going to be able to get my batteries in here and get my power inverter. I even made a video on this showing how it works. We have power. So here's the basic setup. The 2 wires from the solar panels go into the controller. 2 wires out of the controller to the batteries. The batteries stay charged from the solar controller, from the panels. 2 wires from the batteries go to the inverter. This is what makes 12 volts into 110 volts. I frame it out the box in the switch panel. I mean, a lot of this stuff was very expensive. There's the old lady. She's staining up some of the wood. See the difference between stained and unstained. So, I mean, this is a quick recap. My switch panel, we got more materials, more lumber. Here's the expensive part, all the cabinets, the sinks, the refrigerator, insulation. Everything is staged out now. This is where we staged it. This is where we wanted everything. I said the sink's going here, the refrigerator's going here. This side we're going to have the stove, we're going to have a cabinet. So everything got staged out. So we knew exactly what we were doing. Shower pan here, water tank here, original bus heater we kept. This is the bed frame out, for a full-size bed. We had everything planned and measured out, ready to go. So this was the staging part, and of course, bam, winter's here. I kept on working, more staging getting done. A lot of people ask questions about this. Basically, this part right here is a meter that I got off of Amazon, and this monitors my battery voltage, tell me how many watts I'm using, how many amps I'm drawing. This part here is an old APU unit control panel from a big rig. You know the big rigs, they have that auxiliary engine on the side of the frame. This was the control panel for the inside of the rig. So the driver could turn the heat or air conditioning on, run the APU. Basically, I gutted this box and cut it out so that my meter would fit in there. So none of this stuff here does anything. It's simply a housing for my meter. That's all it is. But it worked out pretty cool. More staining cabinets, more battery stuff. We're going to zoom right through these here because we're getting up to the point where I took it over to my Amish buddy. But like I said, I wanted to get everything wired and everything plumbed first. So there's the water inlet for the water tank. You know, I got that ready to go. And then next thing you know, I got the water pump installed. I got the water filter. Got everything installed before the major construction started. You can see wiring here. All the wiring was run down the side of the bus. And then all the walls in here were insulated. I think it was R13 pink insulation. So here's when I took it over to my Amish buddy's house, and he helped me with the carpentry, and he actually did most of the work. I paid him for it. He did a great job. And in 2 weeks, he had this thing done. I mean, he did not mess around. He got to work right away, building the walls, hanging cabinets, getting the sink in. I mean, he got the fridge framed in right away. You can see the insulation back here. I mean, he wasted no time, and he enjoyed the build. He absolutely enjoyed this build. He had a great time doing it. He loved it. There's the front bench. It lifts up for storage. He got to stay home for 2 weeks and do this build right here in his own driveway. You can see the shower going up, the rear wall, the bed framing getting started. I mean, this was all within like a week here. It took him no time at all. He did beautiful woodwork. Nothing I could have accomplished. And I wanted to look good, and that's why I trusted him to do it. There he is in the shower, hooking everything up, getting everything to work. He did an absolutely wonderful job. The pantry, inside and out, everything hand-built. The shower's ready to go. The bedroom cabinets, the bedroom wall, the bathroom walls. I mean, this guy wasted no... I was so impressed with his work. There's the bed, how it lifts up for storage. This way I can also access my water tank and access my pump or anything else just by lifting up the bed. And here it is with the floor done and pretty much finished. I mean, he wasted no time. He did such a beautiful job. I think it was at this point we picked the bus up. You can see the grates here that I used for my rear heater that I left installed in the bus. He wasted absolutely no time and did a absolutely beautiful... He did the skylight also, and he did all the metal work. I mean, beautiful job. He didn't just slap a skylight on for me. He went the extra mile. There's the bathroom, the skylight, more views. I mean, this is how the bus came together. As you can see, right, more wiring. I had wiring for the bathroom. More wiring went through the walls. I had everything planned out. These are my truck mud flaps that I already cut and put into the windows because I had to block off a few windows. The LED light strips in play. You know, this was absolutely right before we got to paint the ceiling. You can see the LED light strips doing their thing. The bus at home. There's the garage. There's the switch panel. There's my stereo system. It's like I said, a marine stereo. It works. I have all my electronics in here. It's easy to access. Good to go. And, you know, there's a nice shot there. Me working out in the bus late at night. I think we were staining wood because we had a lot of staining to do. Took the bus to work and went to McDonald's. Took the guys for a ride with everything, with the stereo and everything working. It was pretty cool. And there's the staining began. All the staining. We taped off everything and days of staining because we had to put several coats on to get it to match. There's a nice shot of a rainbow right there. I don't know if you see that. There's the hatch for the electrical inlet outlet. More staining. More staining. There's the shower curtain up, the bed made. You know, we got everything going here. Here we went on a trip. You know, we went to the store, went to the dollar store, we've gone grocery shopping, we've gone to the laundromat. We take the dogs with us. They just absolutely love it. Going to a state park. This was our first camping experience. I shared that video with you guys. Nice pictures out by the lake. Like I said, we didn't just park this bus and leave it sit. We actually used it and drove it a lot. There's the 12 volt RV TV I got from Amazon, made by Jensen, 19 inch, 12 volt. Everything's 12 volt. It works. You know, we got these lights here. Those are beautiful. I got those installed and wired in. So the bus, you know, came together rather quickly, and we're very happy with it. I don't want to drag this video out too long, you know, but it's just, you know, I don't want to bore you guys with all the crap, but I was able to share you the awning pictures, and there's a few more pictures I wanted to share that I, you know, took inside the bus or out traveling with the bus. Let me see right here. Let's go full screen. There she is, sitting, you know, boondocking one night. Just took a regular picture. Hey there, who's that? There's the bus at Lake Erie. Nice shot there. You know, shots from the windows. Here's a covered bridge, Ashtabula County, Ohio. I got lots of pictures from covered bridges. You know, that's a beautiful picture right there. Love it. I should make this picture right here my YouTube channel picture up top there, the banner. That's a nice shot. Another covered bridge, and then another covered bridge. So we're back to the beginning. But anywho, I didn't want to bore you all with, you know, rambling on anymore. I just wanted to do a recap. I wanted to ask you the questions. Hey, you know, what the hell happened last time? How did you find my channel? Was my video featured on YouTube? Did somebody share it? Tell me, how'd you show up? I'm interested. I'm curious. I'm happy. So, hey, thank you all for watching, and those of you that are sticking with the channel, hang in. I got a vacation coming up here in 6 weeks, and we're going to have a great time. So, thank you all for watching. We'll see you at the next episode.